Well, good morning, everyone. Smaller, not a Dan and Friends, just a conversation with all our managers, which is always a good thing to have. Just want to give you some updates about Epic and I guess maybe reemphasize some of our priorities. If you have questions, because it's kind of hard to be a dialogue, but if you have questions, just put them in the chat box and we'll try to address them. Chris isn't on screen, but she's in the room, so if I don't know something, I bet that she does when it comes to this. And it is mostly on Epic. We'll talk a little bit about kind of some of the impacts after we go live, and then we'll also talk just briefly about parking, because I know that's been a big issue for everyone. And probably next week or so, we'll do a Zoom for everybody, but this mostly is focused, for our leaders. So let's just talk a bit about the 30 plus days we have until we go live here with Epic. Actually, it's less than 30 days, right? Because we're in, say the first, no, not yet. It's close, all right. So 32 days, but anyway, we're going to go live and we're really in the thick of the training. What we're finding is that our no-show rate's a little higher than it needs to be. And I think it is every manager's responsibility to make sure that your staff understand why they need to go to training. Because if you don't have access, you can't work. If you don't pass the Epic proficiency test, you don't get access, you can't work. And we're going to leave people out until they pass the test. And yes, we're going to do that without pay because we want people to take it serious. So you've got to advocate with your employees to let them know, hey, if you're sick, don't come. But if there's any other reason, you make it a priority. If you miss, you end up usually getting a video because we don't have in this short a notice enough extra classes to get everyone in time. So then you got to take the video, and a lot of people who do the video don't pass the proficiency. So then you got to take it again. In the meantime, you don't have access, and you can get why this can become a problem. Right. The in-person training is much better. People do much better on passing the test if they show up. So advocate for your employees, look out for them by letting them know and helping them get to class and making every effort to not blow it off. Okay, because it's a big deal. And I didn't want any of you to go, well, I wish somebody would have told me, or they should have got a follow-up class. Well, it's not really possible when you're training 2,000 plus people. They're going to get a video, and let's try to avoid using videos if we have unless we have really no other option. Okay, so that's kind of my charge to you. Please, let's keep that low no-show rate under. What's it supposed to be under?
I don't know if there's an exact percentage, but we would like it at.
Can you see? I didn't get a straight answer, but it really needs to be. It's not zero, but realistic, I think we're running like 13-14% now, which is way more. I think Epic wants to see it more like at the 6-7% because, stuff happens, but let's make sure people show up. A couple of other things that will be not every manager on this Zoom, but for some of you, you'll be in areas that generate revenue. Okay. And generally, if you're doing procedures, you're going to be putting in charges, and those charges go directly to our bills and directly to our payers. So one of the big challenges when you change over EMRs is that you have to completely redo how you bill your payers, your insurances like Medicare and Medicaid and commercial HMSA, right? Everything has to be on that new bill, and it has to go out where they get it, they process it, and we get paid, right? So just imagine if, in your home environment, you've got all these things set up, your auto bill pays and everything, and all of a sudden you have to go and change banks and set everything all up again, right? That's a challenge. But we're doing something of the same thing. What that means is money's not coming in while we are spending money doing our normal operations until we get everything squared away on getting our bills right and getting them sent to our payers. So you as department heads in these various areas in the Epic system, we get those charges at the point of care. That's a big change for us. And we have to get them on there because they won't get on the old way where someone put it on after the fact looking at the chart. So if you don't put them on, we don't get paid for them. And if we don't get paid for them, our payers certainly won't give it to us just because they think we may have done the work. It really hurts us. So you're going to get a ton of focus on making sure we capture charges. And I wanted people to understand, why are we giving you, quote, such a hard time? Why are we working on this so carefully? Is because that's how we get the money to do our mission. And this is one of the big challenges when you change EMRs, is to make sure that you get your money coming in. So 2 big focuses: get your people to training. And if you're in an area that will capture charges, when you do your dress rehearsals, when you do your day in the life, and when you work with your charge champions, you got to make sure you take it serious. We're going to have daily calls and daily checks. We've got to collect that information so we can get paid for the hard work you do. Okay, so just putting it out there so there'll be no surprises, right? A couple other things, really support, if you can, your super users. I know that there was some concept out there that super users would, go to 10 different trainings and be proficient in everything Epic. It doesn't quite work that way. They get the basic training, they repeat the training, so they get more practice, and they are partners to a lot of your elbow to elbow support. So please support them if they need more. If they need opportunities to take that second round of training. There are also some, if there is time for them to practice their practice tutorials and others, your super users are a big part of how you're going to make sure this is a successful rollout. I'm going to pause there and see. I think we got a couple of questions. I mean, a lot of this honestly is not a dialogue. I just wanted to make sure people would understand, all of you as leaders would understand what we're going to be really pushing on here over the next couple of months. Anything we got up there, Mark? Because I can't read that.
Chris, like she said, it was 33 days. And then Kristen Avant said the no-show rate should be less than 10%.
Okay. Well, good. We're not awful, but let's just keep focusing, keep that under 10%. And thank you, Chris, for helping me count the days until November 1. Let's talk just a little bit about parking. Again, this is just so that you can share some of this information with your staff, and we'll go over maybe more with some visuals and stuff when we do one for just a wider based town hall. I rode around at 8 o'clock today and pretended I was employed, come to work at about 7:50 to try to find parking. And admittedly, I think I identified 3 spaces or 4, and 3 of them probably required jumping a curb. So it's really tough right now, and we're aware. We've got some Epic folks on, but they're not driving most of it. We have a lot of construction folks who are not in premium parking, but they are taking parking in the back of the stalls. We're certainly in our busy, but not busiest time of year, so we are certainly a bit nervous about this. We also, though, making preparations to try to have more parking. So just a couple of things that are out there is the area up there by the staff cottage, that big lawn out there. We're going to turn that into parking and ruin that beautiful lawn, but hopefully that'll give us about 40 more spaces. And we've identified a number of other small 5 or 6 spots where we literally are parking on like every square inch, but that should hopefully alleviate some things. We also identified a lot of vehicles that are part of our operations that maybe we shouldn't have here, which will free up a few more. So that should help employees. But I do want to mention and give you guys heads up, we are hard on making sure our patients who are our primary priority, that they have parking. So we have now attendants where patients park. So warn your staff, don't park there, okay? Don't come in for Epic training and park, in the night parking and then stay until 11 and leave. That's not cool. We're basically assessing every car that's in these patient parking areas with an attendant to make sure that it's reserved for patients. We've had some patients cancel their appointments because they can't find parking, and that's just not acceptable. So unfortunately, we should try to meet everyone's needs, but patients come first, right? So let's make sure we stay out of their areas and make sure you emphasize that message to your staff. Kind of apologize a bit for basically a monologue, but again, I think as a leader, you want to know what's going on and what's expected. And right now, those are probably the three things that we're really focused on and will be impacting you. As far as the actual go live and so forth, we're on track as far as the support staff coming in, our travelers and all. It hasn't been perfect, but we think that we will have enough to support the go live. Our teams are really set up well, I believe, to do a lot of the cutovers. And team's doing a really good job here. I think I'm going to see some of you at the Go Live Readiness Assessment, which I think is on Wednesday. So come, we're going to be pretty rigorous on this one because we're kind of running out of time for any grace. So make sure your stuff is up to date and you can report out on it. And we're going to have us a great Go Live in November. So if you have any questions, throw them up there, but I don't see a whole lot of them. Just wanted to pass on the latest. So thank you everyone for your hard work. And I know this is a lot of work on top of all the other stuff that you do, but I believe it will pay off for not only for you, but staff, most importantly for our patients. So aloha, talk to you later.